it was reported that the Home Secretary had made a joke about putting a date rape drug in his wife's drink.
The row about his joke last week about spiking his wife's drink on the same day that he announced legislation to make it a criminal offence or intensify the criminal definition of these terrible crimes. The Number 10 have said today that, as far as they're concerned, he's apologised. The matter is now closed. Do you think it's closed?
Well, it's closed, is it? So the Home Secretary, the person who's supposed to be responsible for the security of all of us, and that's half of us are women, hello, is such a misogynist that he thinks that it's okay to make a joke about the idea that he can't have a relationship with women or have sex with women without drugging them first. Ha, ha, ha. That is not funny. That is a really nasty and frightening joke, and he should be thoroughly ashamed of himself.
I think I'm going to have to say that again. The Home Secretary at a Downing Street gathering made a joke to a group of women about putting a date rape drug in his wife's drink.
Now, this is your first appearance on Good Morning Britain since that joke, the joke that you made in Number 10 at the party with the media, where you joked about spiking your wife's drink on the very day that you announced a big crackdown in terms of legality on that crime.
The Home Secretary made a joke about putting a date rape drug in his wife's drink, and he did so on the day that his own department had issued guidance on why you should not make jokes about date rape drugs, about Rohypnol.
So what happened with this Rohypnol stuff?
Oh, look, that was...
Just clarify it for us.
Yes, look, it was a joke that I made, and of course, I regret it and I apologised immediately. That apology is heartfelt.
He talked about, and I'm going to quote him now, putting a little bit of Rohypnol in her drink every night, and added it is not really illegal if it's only a little bit.
You must regret that bitterly, because, I mean, it dominated the headlines for days.
I do, and look, it is very frustrating. I didn't need to say it, I shouldn't have said it, and I shouldn't have said it.
There are several things about this conversation that I find reprehensible. The first is that he thought it was a private conversation in Downing Street. Oh, that's all right then.
But the point that I've made is that...
But it's not the first time in recent months that you've got in trouble for saying things which basically you shouldn't have done. Are you a bit loose-lipped?
No, look, there are things that people say in private that they would hope remain in private, and we all perhaps, say things in private we wouldn't want or we would choose not to say publicly. In this instance, of course, I apologise.
The Home Secretary, the man who is essentially responsible for law and order, for the entire criminal justice system in this country, thinks it's okay to make these sort of jokes in private, even though I believe there were journalists present.
Probably not a good idea, is it, if you're going to have to defend that reputation as Home Secretary to make jokes about issues like this at all?
Which is why I apologise straight away.
And what did your wife say?
Well, look, my wife is always very supportive and understanding, and she continues to support me still.
I cannot begin to imagine making a joke about date raping your wife in Downing Street in front of female journalists because you didn't think anyone would reveal what you'd said and that everything would be okay. It's that absence of seriousness coupled with the complete disregard for the gravity of what he's describing that makes me think that this is actually the story of all the stories from the Christmas and New Year period that deserves and needs to be pushed back into the public space.
Click here for a video about James Cleverly from Shitgate to spiking.